Hey, Team Weather Shield, Jim here. Last week we were talking about core behaviors that fell under the core value of own it. This morning we're going to continue that with the core behavior that we introduced a week ago, be disciplined and consistent. There are many aspects of this being disciplined and consistent, and I want to delve into a certain aspect of it this week. Before we do that, I want to just recap what we said last week. And the main idea of this is that greatness requires disciplined, consistent thought and action. The principle I gave you is that you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. In other words, it is your daily habits and your daily thoughts and your daily actions applied consistently that will bring you to the results that you want in life. And if you have dreams, but you don't apply consistent thought and action, those are not really dreams, they're delusions. Following on to this, there's one area that people fail massively to be consistent in their daily behavior and their thoughts, and that is anger. In the area of anger, that manifests itself in angry outbursts. I want to spend some time this morning together looking specifically at this. Now, first, let me define. I'm not talking about societal anger, being angry that you see on the news violence or things happening in our country. Not that kind of anger. I'm talking about interpersonal anger, how we react, and in particular, how we lash out at those that we interact with on a daily basis. This is a huge and really important topic, and it probably will take a couple of weeks for us to cover this together. Now, for many, angry reactions are triggered by perceived insults. We all insult people at times, sometimes purposefully, sometimes not on purpose, but many people lash out, become instantly angry if they perceive an insult. And there are some people who have actually made this into an art form. If you've ever seen the movie The Last Dance or the series on ESPN, The Last Dance, about Michael Jordan's Bulls, Michael Jordan made everything into a perceived insult and actually used that as motivation. Similar to that is disrespect. This is true everywhere. No one likes to be disrespected, and we can all be sensitive to it. It seems to be especially prevalent in Latin American cultures. Now, any type of disrespect, whether it's intentional or accidental, for some people is seen as grounds for a fight, either verbal or even physical. We had a foster son who lived with us for about 9 months, and his first week of school, we put him in school at Forest Hills Northern, and there was a kid at school who called him a bitch, just said bitch. And in his culture, them's fighting words. You don't disrespect me. And he ended up getting into a giant altercation and getting himself expelled from school within his first couple days. But that's how some people react and lash out when they perceive disrespect. At the extreme are those who have angry outbursts simply because they are irritated by someone. So I'll ask you, have you ever lashed out at your child because they spilled milk or something at the table? Have you ever lashed out at your spouse, become angry with your spouse because they did something like forgot to put the toilet seat back down? In each case, the person who lashes out sees it as being deserved by the offending party. They see it, we see it, as being justified, even righteous. It's our righteous response to being wronged by another. After all, doesn't justice demand that wrongs be made right? Doesn't justice mean that the scales should be balanced? So I'm going to leave you with this, and then we're going to come back and unpack this next week. I want to just say that rarely, if ever, is this truly the case. Rarely, if ever, is an angry outburst a good or righteous or deserved response to someone who has wronged us. I want you to hear me in this. Hear this. Almost always, anger is a weapon of punishment that we inflict on the offending party to even the score. Almost always, anger is a weapon of punishment that we inflict on the offending party to even the score. Now, if you're honest with yourself, you will see that this is true. Our angry outbursts are not righteousness in action. They are an instrument of punishment, and they are a massive, massive manifestation of a lack of discipline and controlled thought and action. We will delve into this more next week. For this week, my assignment for you all is to think about this and talk amongst yourselves. Am I right or am I wrong that angry outbursts in almost every case are in reality not a righteous reaction or a deserved reaction, but they are a method to inflict punishment on someone? I think this will make for interesting conversations. Have a great week. More on this next week.